Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here, and welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Battler Chronicle video. And today, we are here with an updated beginner's guide. This is for, of course, all of you guys who are just starting out for the first anniversary, or you guys might be returning after many months for the first anniversary. This video will help you guys get an idea on effectively what to look out for, and along with that, what has changed since the start of the game. This is going to be a pretty long video, so strap your seatbelts tight and get your popcorn ready. And of course, if you have any questions about anything in this video, leave it in the comment section down below. Or if I've not mentioned anything and you want to know some more details about it, let me know in the comment section down below. I will be sure to try and answer those questions as soon as possible. Along with that, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, remember to leave a like down below, and of course subscribe to the channel for more content. And let's get ready for the first anniversary together. Now, first and foremost, I would like to say that I have a document up and running, okay? So that I can go over everything that I want to talk about in this video. And the first thing I think we should all talk about is, of course, when you get into the game for the very first time, if you're starting up a brand new account, is, of course, the infinite reroll. You have the opportunity to actually go through and complete infinite reroll, where you can keep rerolling again and again and again and again, and you are guaranteed at least one of 5 attackers. Along with that, in the free infinite reroll multi, you can actually get more than just that guaranteed UR attacker. So you can actually get more units as well. So the UR attackers that are available for you to actually pick up in that last slot, if I recall correctly, are Aisha, Red Bell, the Fire Bell that I have over here, this guy over here, he's available. Eyes is available, the green eyes is available, Aisha is available, and Tiona is available. I think Finn is also available if I'm not mistaken, so actually make that 6 units actually. So there are these 6 attacker units that are available that you guys can pick up. It's the green eyes, the wind eyes, the electric Aisha, the water Tiona, the electric Finn over here, Fire Bell, and of course, like I said, the earth Lafia over here as well. Did I forget anybody else? I'm trying to remember. So Aisha, eyes, Tiona, Finn, Lafia, Firebell. So 6 units, right? There are 6 units that are available for you to pick from. And to be honest, the easiest and most obvious option is this eyes. There's no two ways about it. You need to get this eyes. That's it. That's all you need to do, is just try and get this eyes. Now, outside of that, unfortunately, there are some missing units from the infinite reroll that are actually available as non-time limited units that I would have recommended even more so than anybody else, like your Otaro, like Freya, and so on and so forth. But they're not available in the infinite reroll. So with eyes, what I would personally recommend is trying to get at least 2 or 3 other URs if possible. Try and go for a triple UR multi with eyes in there. The other URs can be anybody. Obviously, I would recommend some units over others. Like I would personally recommend Tiona. I'd push for potentially Fire Bell. With the buffs coming up as well, Wind Ryu might actually not be a terrible option either as well. If you look on the assist side as well, you could go for somebody like Seer or Hermes as well, is not a bad option. Red Hestia is probably the best option you can get in terms of assists as well. Obviously, right, you get her for free anyways during the anniversary. You will get her for free during the anniversary, but getting her an initial copy and then getting more dupes for her is amazing. Hephaestus is also not bad. So there are all of these units that you can go for, but to be quite honest, with another game mode that is coming up that we'll talk about, right, you want to try and get as many units as possible anyways. So just try and pick up whatever you can, in my opinion. Right now, try and get at least 3 units if possible. Focus on eyes. Try and get a really good assist for eyes, be it the Red Hestia or Seer as well. And then maybe an adventure that's actually pretty good, like Tiona, or a Wind Ryu coming up, of course, with her buffs as well. That'll not be too shabby as well. You could go for Fire Bell as well. He's not terrible either. Cassandra can be a decent healing option as well. So just try and go for something along those lines to basically give you a bit of a good head start with everything that's coming up in the anniversary, and just generally with whatever content that we're going to be talking about in this video, right? So that should be your focus on the infinite reroll. Now, along with that, you will also get actually some more reroll opportunities as well. Technically, if you really want to go through that whole process of trying to get every single unit that you want perfectly for your account, right? Because of course, remember that we do have these gacha ticket gifts as well, which will give you a free 10 draw on a regular gacha banner, basically allowing you to potentially get the likes of Philvis, Ahmed, Otaro, so on and so forth. Now, if you want the perfect reroll, what I would recommend is getting Eyes and 2 other or 3 other URs in the first multi, that infinite reroll multi, and then in the second multi, trying to go for Otaro if possible. Either Otaro, Haruhime, or Philvis or Ahmed. I would say one of those 4 units probably would be one of the best decisions you guys could make. There are some other units that could also go well. Anya, Chloe, and Lenore as well aren't too bad. So that is what you should be aiming for if you want the perfect reroll, right? Is try and get 3 or 4 URs in the infinite reroll, including Eyes and a couple of other units as well. Maybe a really good assist, right? And then in the second multi that you do, basically the free gacha ticket multi you get, right? Try and aim for Otaro, Haruhime, Anya, Chloe, Lenore, or Philvis and Ahmed. 7 of these units, they're all very good to have just in your party, to be quite honest. They'll be really, really solid long term, especially, I would say. So keep that in mind. That is what would be the ideal reroll. So that's to start things off. That is the reroll side of things. We have still a lot more to go through, right? So that should be your focus on the reroll side, right? Now, when you get into the quest section, you get bombarded with a bunch of panels here. And as a starting player, your focus should be on primarily, I would say, 3 things. The story quest, which of course you have to progress through to unlock a lot of the stuff in the game, of course, right? And unlock a lot of just generally accessibility features, basically, when it comes to, you know, basically getting a lot of fauna, a lot of battle items and stuff like that, basically. We'll come on to what those are in just a moment. But yeah, you got to progress through the story quests. And of course, this is a great way for you to basically get a lot more Selas as well. Because if you are able to triple crown all of the missions on normal, hard, and very hard, you will get 1,000 Selas per chapter. So in total, if we were to look at all of the chapters that are available in the game, there are 9 chapters in season 1. There are how many chapters here? There are 9 chapters in season 2, so that's 18 chapters already. 3 chapters in season 3 only so far, so that's 21. 1 chapter in season 4, 22. Arrow of Orion, 3 chapters, that's 25. Sword Rotori has 2 chapters, so that's 27. So you could get 27,000 Selas if you are able to perfect it, which is going to be very, very hard because you need like full teams. So I wouldn't necessarily push for it because you need to have all the team full of the same attributes, which is very much impossible for a new player. It's a long-term thing, but you can easily get 500 Selas as well, which will still give you basically about 15,000 Selas right there. That is very easy to accomplish. 15,000 Selas is going to be very, very easy to accomplish, especially with the anniversary giving as many multis as it is as well, right? From the regular gacha banner and of course the anniversary banner as well. So focus on the story quests, of course, primarily. Try and get through it as much as possible. Try and clear the battle missions if you can, of course, by forming a team with the same attributes and stuff like that. Go through normal, hard, very hard, whatever you can accomplish, do that. The other thing you need to also focus on, like I said, is your daily quests and your upgrade quests. So your daily quest is just like every other daily quest. You do it, you get a bunch of resources. It's a great way to get things started off when it comes to being able to basically get your units going, right? The other thing you need to also focus on is your upgrade quests. You can do it 3 times a day, and you have an option between obviously your fire fauna, water fauna, electric fauna. These are your upgrade materials as well. You can get books, you can get ballast. This is a great way for you to basically get a bunch of resources. You can do it 3 times a day. If you want to do more, you can also use Selas to recover the attempts and get more attempts. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I think it's better for you to just slowly build up instead. There's multiple other ways you can get more resources as well. So I wouldn't necessarily focus on this too much of, you know, recovering it. Just do your attempts and get out of there kind of thing. Just do your attempts and get out of there. I would highly recommend you focus on that. The other thing you want to do is the events. The events are a great way for you to get a bunch of items, especially if you look at the resources that you can get here, right? You can get a bunch of books which will allow you to increase the skill level of your units, which we'll get onto in just a moment. Since we're on upgrading units, we'll tackle that next. Obviously for this event, they did something a little bit different where you have multiple currencies. So you can go and buy more stuff as well, like fauna, ability board items and stuff like that, battle items as well. So this is a way for you to basically get a bunch of resources. Events are always a great way for you to get a bunch of resources. This time around, their grind was a little bit too much. Hopefully they ease it back again for the anniversary event. but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we'll have to just wait and see. But yes, that is the first set of events that you need to focus on. Now, as you're progressing through the game, the next thing you want to do is, of course, upgrade your units. Upgrading your units is going to be the one of the most important things you can do in the game, of course, right? Because effectively what you want to do is try and get as many units leveled up as possible for a game mode coming up in the near future that we'll talk about. So the first thing you want to do is click on a unit and choose your unit that you want to level up. Of course, if you're starting with eyes, level up eyes. 100%, that is the priority. You want to level up eyes. And basically you have 5 tabs on the left hand side. First and foremost, you have your status. So this allows you to go over all the details of this unit. You can click on max to see what he'd look like or she'd look like at max level. You can have a look at the skill details to see what the skills look like of the units as well. In that way, it's pretty detailed for you to basically go through what a unit does and doesn't do and get an idea of what the unit is capable of doing in terms of its stats and everything, right? Now, if you look at the bottom right of the base status, right? If you look at the bottom right and you're wondering, what do the stats mean, Gail? You need to let us know what the stats mean. I have a dedicated video talking about the stats in more detail. You guys can go and check it out. I will be creating a playlist with just Danmachi Battle Chronicle guides. It'll be going up just as this video goes live as well. So you guys can go through all the old stuff that I have in, the last year basically that I've created. But to give you guys an idea of what the stats do, your power is basically your total combat power. It adds up for you to basically take into the event, which is very important. And I wanted to come on to that in a moment as well. But the power requirements is very important because it's very similar to another gacha game, Nikkei, where basically the power is a effectively blockade. I think that's the best way to put it, because if you're under the power level, the enemies will become stronger. If your power is above the recommended power level, it'll be a normal fight. So say for example, I go into this event and I click on very hard and I have to recover my stamina. So let me just do that really quickly. I'll just do that for this video. That's fine. So if I click on prepare to attack, you can see my power level is low for this one. If I click set off, combined power of the party is below the recommended level. If you set off as is, the enemies will be enhanced and strengthened. Proceed, and of course, you can make the decision. Now, I will say this. If you have the right units and the right element typing and everything, you will be able to overcome that. It's just a question of if you have the right typing and everything. And to be honest, with the upcoming update for the anniversary, it in theory should be a lot easier to actually get to those recommended power levels, and I'll come on to why in just a moment. Of course, we'll come back to that screen in a moment because there's a lot to break down there. So if you take a look at the base status, so you have your power. HP is your HP stat. Of course, we already know that. Your SCR and intelligence are 2 halves of your attack stat. Both of them add up to the attack stat. It's very confusing. I know a lot of people tend to get a little bit confused as to like, oh, if it's a physical attacker, that means it's strength based. If it's Lafia or like Ryu or something that's magic focus, it's in focus. No. That doesn't make a difference in this game. It's the same stat. It is literally one and the same stat. They just get added up together to give you your attack stat. The intelligence stat actually also does a little bit more for healers as well, because a lot of the healers have a multiplier that's indexed or scaling off the intelligence status. So your heals become stronger based on your intelligence stat, but your attack, your general attack power is a combination of both your strength and your intelligence. So keep that in mind, is that they're one and the same thing. There are some units that have a inclination towards a certain stat, which means that you'd probably want to give them other scene cards that will basically boost a certain, or battle items or whatever, certain things that'll boost one of their stats, not the other stats. So obviously for Anya, I'd go full on strength, right? Because her stats are more indexed towards strength, right? So that means the percentages will be higher. So that's why I would say keep the stats in mind, but it's not overly important either necessarily when it comes to like, oh, I need to focus entirely on strength, oh, I need to focus entirely on intelligence. No. It's not that significant, but it is still something that you should keep an eye out a little bit on. Vitality is your defense, endurance, very simple there. Dexterity is your crit rate. Basically, that's what it is. It's just your crit rate. I don't exactly know, and we've still not been able to figure out how does dexterity actually affect the crit rate. Is it like 1 point is 0.1% crit rate, or is 1.0.01% crit rate? We don't know necessarily. They've not really been open with that, and we've never been able to truly figure it out. So unfortunately, we don't have an idea on that. But of course, the higher the dexterity, the better the unit will be in terms of critting, of course, more often. Speed units are notorious for being obviously dexterity oriented. Their strength and their strength and intelligence is a little bit lower. Attacker units, of course, have strength and intelligence and spade. Then you have your supporter units that are there to support basically, and then your tank units are your tanks basically. There's 4 roles. That's what you need to keep an eye out on basically, is that there's attacker, defender, support, and speed basically. Attacker is the one with the wand and the sword. Defender is the one with the shield. Supporter is the one with the 2 stars, and speed is the one with the boot basically, is the thing you need to keep an eye out on the most basically. So you can see it in the symbols in the top right. There's 5 elements: wind, water, fire, earth, and electric. Electric is stronger than water. Water is stronger than fire. Fire is stronger than wind. Wind is stronger than earth. Fire is red. Electric is purple. Blue is water. Earth is yellow, and green is wind. Just keep that in mind. So that's what you need to keep in mind in regards to the element chart, and of course the roles as well. Now you obviously have your normal level up system. You also have a limit break system. Your limit break isn't based on dupes whatsoever. There's nothing based on dupes when it comes to your limit breaking of units and uncapping their levels. You can go to and do that to any unit. If you want to do it to SRs, you can. If you want to do it to URs, you can. It's up to you. So the level up and limit break system is basically very simple in that sense, right? You have the resources here. You have to use the Falna to get up. You have your mystical Falna, all-encompassing Falna, your electric type Falnas as well. So water, electric, fire, and so on and so forth. So just keep that in mind for the level up and limit break system, is that it's very simple and very straightforward in that regards. Now comes the dupe system, the awakening system. The awakening system's main focus is to generally give you a stats boost, and along with that, boost also along with it some of your skills as well. So for example, in this situation at A1, your special move improves. This has always been the case. Your special move always improves at A1 and all the way at A5. At A2, you get to see your skill 1 improve. At A3, you get to see your skill 2 improve, your technique 2 improve. A4 is just a general stats bonus. There's no bonus otherwise. Your normal attacks don't get bonuses from dupes yet. The anniversary belt seems to be the first unit that does improve with his normal attack with A2, I think it was. So keep that in mind. But otherwise, most units actually don't see an improvement in their normal attacks. And like I said, A5 is for your special moves. So keep that in mind. To be quite honest, I will say this. The dupe system isn't very heavily important is the best way to put it. Yes, it does make a difference, but it doesn't also, stop you from clearing other bits of content in the game, to be quite honest. And I will say this, A5 is probably one of the more lesser important dupes that you need in terms of A1 to A5. Usually A1 to A3 is where you need to be at more often than not, and that is where you should be focusing on more so than anything else. You can also dupe out characters, any character you want, time limited or non-time limited, with these rainbow bonds. I have 43. I've been saving since the wedding banner, because I think I used 10 during the wedding banner, and then I used 10 before then for like the New Year's banner and so on and so forth. I've actually used quite a bit. I think I've used 40 in total. So over the last year, basically in total with everything that I've done in the game and all that sort of stuff, I've amassed about 80 rainbow bonds is what I would say basically, which is an insane amount. That's 8 free dupes for any character you want, which is ridiculous, right? It is so good in that sense. I'll talk about the ways you can get these rainbow bonds as well in just a moment, but trust me when I say this, the game is quite giving when it comes to these rainbow bonds, right? Like I said, 8 bonds is nothing to scoff at. 8 dupes, I should say, is nothing to scoff at whatsoever. Now you have your skill level upgrades. This is very simple. You get these books, you level up your skills. It's very similar to Genshin and Honkai Star Rail and all these gacha games, where now you have to increase the skill levels of your units, and therefore they're able to then get more numbers on their multipliers. So it goes from level 1 to level 10. There is no level beyond that at this moment in time. So keep that in mind. The upgrading is very simple for skill levels. It's very simple. Now comes the ability board where things get very tricky. So the ability board basically allows you to get a bunch of extra stats and bonuses effectively, and you need these fragments. You can either use these fragments across the board, you can use bonds, or you can use rainbow bonds. To be honest, I would say for URs, just use the fragment items. They give you an okayish amount. They will probably give you more over time, I think, especially because they're planning on adding a second ability board actually as well in the near future. They're adding a second ability board for the anniversary, and so we'll be able to see an extension to this. Now, there are things like, for example, you can get an extra dash for your unit. You can get a attack on your dash as well. Your dodge will be able to inflict damage. You're able to also get an extra additional technique usage on your unit. So you can use your first skill twice, or you can use your second skill twice now as well. So there's a bunch of these things where they'll just increase your stats. They'll allow you to use your skills more times. They'll allow you to basically get a little bit more normal attack damage, special move damage, critical damage, and so on and so forth. Now, the boards for the units are all the same depending on their role. So all the attacker role units share the same ability board. All the defender role units share the same ability board. Like the ability panels are exactly the same for the roles. So basically, like, for example, the eyes that I've been talking about so much, right? She will have the same ability board as, say, Aisha or an Artemis, or even this Earth Bell that I have here. She will share the same ability board as the 3 units to her left. Where on the other side, Otaro, for example, as a defender unit, will share the same ability board as Philvis or Tione, for example. So that is something you need to keep in mind when it comes to these units and their ability boards, is that they'll have a similar-ish ability board across every single one of these units, and even assists have these ability boards as well. So keep that in mind, that you want to focus on both sides as well. You want to do both. You want to do an ability board for the likes of your adventurers and also your assist role units, because they are able to also give a decent bonus as well. 4% strength, 4% magic, 3% magic, 2% strength, and these add up. So you have to keep in mind that this will be beneficial in any game mode, in any and every game mode. This will be super beneficial. Now, let's go back to the party screen, because you might have noticed some things there that might be a little bit confusing to you. Like, for example, what are these things on the bottom screen? What are they? So first and foremost, on the left hand side, if you take a look at the unit right above my head, Tiona, sorry, you have the battle items. These are basically items that you can use in the game itself, like in gameplay elements basically, and they will be able to deal damage, give you a buff, give your enemies a debuff, inflict poison, burn. Some of them do various different things. A lot of them do different things, and you have to keep an eye out on what they do. To be honest, battle items are something that people don't use that much, to be quite honest. Some are really good, like Ushiwakamaru here is able to give crit rate and also attack at the same time, so that's pretty good. The rabbit earrings, for example, also give dodge cooldown recovery as well, which is super nice as well, right? But the thing is, right, with battle items, generally speaking, what you're looking for more so than anything else is the characteristics. These are the things you're looking forward to the most, and especially with some of these battle items, they are able to be active at all times in the fight. So your Goliath Robe, Ushiwakamaru, these things have bonuses that will give you effectively a big boost in the battle for a lot of units. A lot of units are able to take advantage of this. So getting strength bonuses, critical damage, magic increases. Again, for attacker units, that's massive. But then you also have things like, for example, if we go over to the final medicine, you're going to get dexterity as well. You're going to be able to see some bonuses there. The 50% dexterity, which is going to be pretty massive for getting more crits, right? So the battle items are significant for their characteristics more so than their active skill. Now, there are some conditions as well for these battle items, like, for example, you need to have a water attribute unit as well, and so on and so forth. But along with that, some of these battle items, especially the event battle items, right, they are only active when you use the battle item. Some of these battle items are active at all times, like the Goliath Robe is active at all times. but the other battle items are only when using them. So these are weaker battle items, generally speaking. What you're looking for is more so than anything else these ones, where their passives are active at all times. Now, the thing is, for the anniversary, they're adding a mechanic where instead of only equipping one battle item, you can now equip 3 battle items on all these units, which will help in increasing the combat power of your unit and also therefore increasing the total power of your unit. So therefore, you're able to basically equip, let's say for example, with this Galeriot robe, I want to equip this Ushiwakamaru and freeze oil. I will only be able to use the Galeriot robe as is the first one, but the other 2 will be giving their passives and their stats as well. So I will be able to get, for example, from the freeze oil, I'll get more HP, intelligence, and vitality when I'm able to equip it in the 2nd or 3rd slot. Same thing with Ushiwakamaru, but I'll only be able to use the Galeriot robe's active skill. So keep that in mind. It is something that's going to help out a lot of starting players, in my opinion, because you do get a bunch of like SR and SSR battle items at the very beginning of the game, including rare items. So you will be able to basically equip your units with 3 battle items and therefore be able to obviously help you out massively with the total power. Of course, that didn't change too much. Let me see if I can change this. Yeah, you can see the total power changing when I change the battle item, right? So it is going to be very significant, in all honesty. You will want to make sure to farm as many battle items as possible. Along with that, you have these scene cards as well, which again, these are very similar to like weapons, basically, I would say, or craft essences from Fate Grand Order. They're basically cards that you can summon for in the gacha. We'll talk about the gacha in just a moment. And also you will be able to get stats bonuses as well, like stamina increases, shield, and so on and so forth. You will have to basically dupe it out if you really want to do extremely well with it. There is an upgrade mechanic as well for this. The more you dupe out, the better the numbers become and stuff as well. And you will be able to unlock also the 2nd passive and stuff, right? For example, if I go over to a scene card that is level 35, let's say this one, right? I've gotten 1 dupe in it, but I can only activate the 2nd passive at limit break 5, and then it becomes like this basically. So the numbers will go up, and you'll also get more of a bonus as well from limit break 5 onwards, and an additional effect as well. So keep that in mind, of course, for the scene card side of things. Now, when it comes to the gacha, obviously with the anniversary, there's some massive changes happening to the gacha system. So what I'm going to do is, when the gacha system gets rehauled, I will be making a separate video for that. And because obviously things are going to be changing, I won't delve too much into the pity system for the gacha just yet, because we're going to see a massive overhaul. I wouldn't focus on summoning on anything at this moment in time, at the time of this video, of course, being live before the anniversary comes out. Don't summon on any of these summer banners just yet. I would probably just wait, to be quite honest, and wait till, of course, the anniversary banners go live and the changes come into play, because the pity system is getting a massive overhaul. Right now, if you really wanted to get one of these units, right, you had to do 20 multis to get them and choose from one of them. Now you only need to do 16 multis when the banners go live for the anniversary. Along with that, the rates are also changing as well. From 6%, the rates are going, or well, 6% being 3% scene card, 3% UR adventure or assist. It's now going from 6% in total to 8%. So it's most likely going to be 4% scene card, 4% assist and adventure. For the anniversary, they're pushing it up to 10%, but for future banners, it'll be going to 8%, not 6%. So keep that in mind. You can summon for assists, you can summon for adventures, and you can summon for scene cards. So keep that in mind. In the infinite reroll banner, by the way, just to go back to that as well really quickly, don't go for the scene cards. I wouldn't say go for scene cards immediately. Focus on getting more assists and adventures if possible. That'll be your priority more so than anything else, in my personal opinion. You should be focusing on that more so than anything else. Quickly taking a look at my document once again. One more thing to mention is that for the anniversary as well, actually, is that you need a 3 times, there's going to be a 3 times drop rate for the upgrade quest and the story quest. Take advantage of it. You will be able to get a bunch of resources that way. So make sure you guys get it done, okay? Get it done. It'll come in handy massively. It'll be super, super useful. Now, coming on to the most important panel, once you're done with a lot of the story, I think once you reach, the later parts of the story, if I'm not mistaken, you have to get to, Familiar Myth even. I think you have to finish off Familiar Myth on normal. You will then unlock at the Explore stage, which will allow you to access 3 game modes. United Final Battle, Uncharted Battlefield, and Abyssal Exploration. So, starting off with United Final Battle, it is basically a raid mode. You can play with your friends and challenge any boss in this game mode, which is amazing. And it's a lot of fun. You can play with any friends you want. Of course, they have to be in similar regions. I think NA and EU are on one region, and the other region is Asia. So it's kind of separate. I don't know if you can connect to Japanese players and Asian players completely just yet. I know some people were saying that they can now, but I haven't been able to prove it myself just yet. But nonetheless, this is a raid mode and it is fun. It is a lot of fun to do. They've just switched it over to the Minotaur. It used to be the Goliath and now they switched it to the Minotaur. They'll probably switch it to something else in the future. I hope for the anniversary they do something special, but we'll have to wait and see. But along with that, if you are able to get 3,000 points during the raid battle, you will also get 3,000 Selas as well, which is huge. It's again another way for you to get a bunch of Selas as well, right? It's massive. There's also an exchange shop for it where you can get a bunch of resources, including potatoes and mystical fauna. So make sure you guys get it done as well. It's super, super amazing. It is so good. It is so, so good. Now, Uncharted Battlefield is not live right now, but to give you guys an idea of the game mode, and there's videos on it as well, it's basically a gauntlet of your box, effectively. It'll test how many units you have, and it is the reason why I said in the reroll and the free multis, just get as many units as possible, because in Uncharted Battlefield you need effectively units for every single stage. There are 12 stages in total. There might be a chance that they might increase it for the anniversary. It's not confirmed yet, but with the anniversary coming up, and of course with more Uncharted Battlefields coming up, I have to tell you guys, you will need multiple units, because when you use a unit and scene card and battle item in one stage, if you use any of the battle item, scene cards, and units in one stage, let's say I use, for example, Eyes, Goliath robe, and 3 random scene cards, I will no longer be able to use those 3 things in the following stages. So Eyes can no longer be used in stage 2. I can't use the Wind Goliath robe. I can use the other Goliath robes. I just can't use that Wind Goliath robe I used, and I can't use any of the scene cards that I used for that previous stage. So effectively, it is a test of how many units you have in your box. It is definitely an end game content. It is, I would say, more so mid to end game content. It tests your box, how many units you have and stuff. And so that is going to be very important. It's the reason why a lot of us have leveled up our SRs and SSRs to level 60, because they actually come in handy for the Uncharted Battlefield. It is super, super helpful to have your SRs and SSRs leveled up for Uncharted Battlefield as well. So keep that in mind. It is also another place where you get a bunch of resources, including 3,000 Selas per iteration. So it is super, super imperative. What they tend to do is they usually tend to alternate between United Final Battle and Uncharted Battlefield. So United Final Battle takes up half a month, and then the other half of the month is Uncharted Battlefield. Now, they have added a very new game mode recently in the form of Abyssal Exploration. They had a beta version of it last month. This month, with the anniversary coming up, they are launching the live version, the full version of it, and it is basically a dungeon exploration game mode. You can go into the dungeon and go through multiple floors, challenge whatever enemies you want, explore the entirety of it, get rare drops, including a bunch of limited battle items. Again, a very good way to do it. And you can use whatever team you want basically as well. You also get a bunch of resources. You get some Selas for clearing the stage as well. So it is a brand new game mode that we're going to probably see for the very first time in its entirety and glory on the 14th of August, of course, with the anniversary going live. I'm just giving you guys an idea of what it was in the beta test. I think the live version will be completely different, and I'll be making a guide video for you guys as well on the live version of Abyssal Exploration. So keep that in mind. Very, very good. These are my favorite game modes, by the way. Just for the record, these are my favorite game modes. Honestly, so much fun. United Final Battle, playing with friends is so much fun. Uncharted Battlefield, always you can do a bit of a challenge with it. Try and do it solo, like 1 unit per stage. You can have 3 units per stage, but they have to be non-time limited as well. It ends up becoming a lot of fun. I've only just recently beat Uncharted Battlefield with only non-time limited units, which was a lot of fun to do. So it's only SRs, SSRs, and URs you can get from the general pool, not limited units. So a lot of fun. You can have a lot of fun with these game modes. I highly recommend it. And of course, if you're a returning player, you probably don't know about Uncharted Battlefield or Abyssal Exploration. These are brand new game modes technically for you guys as well. they're a lot of fun. Trust me when I say this, they're a lot of fun. Also, by the way, Uncharted Battlefield, for the record, it's auto only. You can't use the characters. You can't control the characters. You can introduce settings for them to follow. So for example, if we go here, right, and if I were to go into a stage, for example, right, this is something that they've introduced again that's new to help with Uncharted Battlefield. But if you go into the stage, you can actually set what the enemies or what your units should do. Should they attack the bosses primarily? Should they save their ult for the bosses primarily? Should they focus on healing? Should they focus on attacking? It's very, very good in that sense. It's very, very good, and they've actually improved the AI massively as well. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And Abyssal Exploration is manual, but it is going through a lot of floors. It's like 5 floors it was 5 floors during the beta test, the first 5 floors, and it used to take like 20 to 30 minutes for us to do. Admittingly, they did give us a trial team for it. We couldn't use our own units. I think with our own units, it would have been probably 10-15 minutes, but still, it's fun because they're probably going to add more floors in the future, the deeper floors. And this is actually the first time, I think, in a Danmachi game we've had proper dungeon exploration. Infinite Combat had it kinda. Danmimo tried doing it with Rampage, but then they deleted that game mode. So getting it finally with a Danmachi game, it's so good. It is so good to see, you know? So nice. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I think you guys need to keep an eye out for those game modes primarily. Now, Arena is the next one we need to take a look at. Now, Magic Stone Scramble is the 8-player PvP game mode that I don't think anybody plays. To be honest, this is something that this is a game mode that we've been begging them to change, and they've acknowledged it, but I don't know if they really want to change it or do anything with it outside of just keeping it there and not doing anything with it, to be honest, because I think they've kind of realized that they've messed up with this game mode. This was their selling point at the start of the game's life cycle. When the game first came out, they were selling this game mode as their biggest thing, which to be fair, it is. 8-player PvP is not something you tend to see in a gacha game, and for good reason, to be honest. The connections, the matchmaking, it just is a mess. It's a massive mess, and it's something I don't do. The rewards as well are pretty trash. You have to do it for a whole month, and you have to get to a certain rank to only get 800 to 1000 Selas. You can technically get a little bit more. You can get 1200 Selas because getting to a hero is very easy in MSS because nobody plays the game mode. But let's say you get to legend, you only get 1000 Selas. The rainbow bond is super handy, and this is one of the ways you can get rainbow bonds as well. But it's not something I would recommend players do, to be quite honest. It's not something I'd recommend players do at all. It's a skip, to be quite honest. If you want to do it, you can. I would say just do it on auto. I do it on auto just to get the weeklies and stuff done because there are some missions attached to it, of course, right? In the weekly tab, right? 50 XP and 1000 coins that you can use in the exchange shop, of course, as well. But yeah, I would do it a little bit just so that you can basically get the rewards and also just getting the Selas, because you get 1000 Selas as well by exchanging in the shop and stuff, as well as a bunch of other items as well. So there is that. Now on the other side, Battle Arena is a lot more simpler and it's a lot more straightforward. You get to choose between any of these teams. You take it on. Of course, there are some very easy teams out there. In fact, my team is a very easy team. I've said this is not my defense team. This is my defense team. I've said it so that people encounter this team when I'm doing my when people see me in Battle Arena. And so you can basically set easy teams up for other people to beat up and you still get the points. You don't lose points for losing fights or losing defenses. At most, when you do defenses and you win the defenses, you get some of these extra coins. But to be quite honest, if you're able to face off easy teams and you get into like the likes of Diamond and Legend, which is super easy to do, you get a bunch of coins anyways. You get 2,800 coins per season. So realistically, you don't need to worry about it. I've been at 13,500 coins forever. So realistically, it's not that bad. And of course, the main things you want to go for here are your regular gacha tickets and then your books, of course, right? For the resources side of things. So keep that in mind. Battle Arena is fairly nice in that sense, and of course you also get a rainbow bond as well. This changes over every 2 weeks. It's and every a half a month they change it up basically and reset everybody back basically a little bit. So keep that in mind. So yeah, you can see that I've changed the setups and there's new teams as well. I could face one of these teams and beat them and I get points basically. So keep that in mind. Arena is something I'd ignore. Magic Stone Scramble. Battle Arena, you can do, of course, to get the rewards basically. Also, another thing to note as well with MSS and Battle Arena, both of these things have the same thing. You also have some first rank rewards as well, where you can get some easy Selas by reaching the rank for the very first time. You could do this to just try and get the rewards immediately and then stop, but that's up to you to decide whether or not it's worth it. Would I recommend it? If you're autoing, then sure, but I wouldn't necessarily force it. I wouldn't force it because it's just such a grind. It's such a hefty grind that I don't think a lot of people would have fun with it, to be quite honest. I will say that. Now, in the exchange shop, of course, we've gone over majority of the exchange shop. They tend to add some special exchange shops like this, basically, where you can do certain missions and gain coins, and then you exchange it for items like Mystical Fauna, some bonds, and stuff like that. This is the second time they're doing this, so that's that. Then this is the pity system. Again, I'm not going to address this right now, purely because, of course, the pity system is going to change. So let's not talk about it. Battle Pass, there's Battle Pass scene cards. We'll talk about that one in a moment when we get to the Battle Pass as well. We have some Realis keys here as well. These are your dupe exchanges. So if you have too many dupes and you've sold the dupes, you can then come here and use these keys to basically get items such as tickets and rainbow bonds and all that sort of stuff. There's memoir medals as well, which we will probably see get changed most likely, because this is what you would get for basically if you didn't use up your pity medals basically right here. Let's say, for example, on this banner I have 10 medals, right? As you can see on the left hand side of the exchange tab, I could use that for the memoir medals inevitably. As you guys saw, the shop is ass. I've gotten 526 since I started this game. I've not used a single one because this is so bad. This is something that they need to change, and I'm hoping with the pity system and everything getting rehauled and everything, hopefully this is going to change as well. We'll have to just wait and see, of course, on that front. So that is your exchange shop. You also have a shop as well with paid Selas and everything, and your paid packs as well. The main thing I would say that's really worth it in this section is probably the daily Selas pass, because you get 800 paid Selas and then 100 each day for 3000 Selas across a month, right? But because you get 800 paid Selas, you can then use the 800 paid Selas to also get the battle pass, which is really good. You get a bunch of potato poppers, you get a bunch of items, you get a bunch of Falma, you get a bunch of Exilia, you get a lot of things here. Memory crystals as well. At level 60, you get a guaranteed UR character gacha ticket as well. It is extremely good, extremely valuable and extremely beneficial. There are missions as well, as you can see here, to do MSS, do beat 1000 enemies, draw from the gacha, so on and so forth. It's very simple. I will say that this is probably a hella valuable. It is so freaking valuable that it is absolutely worth it to get it for $10. Honestly, it is so worth it. $10 for 3000 Silas plus the battle pass. Come on, are we even kidding here? It's so worth it. It is so worth it. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend you guys make sure to get the battle pass, to be honest, if you are a spending player. If you're not, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. You can still get some of the free stuff on the free track as well. You can get the bottom half as well and get the Selas and books and stuff like that. Some of the scene card tickets as well that you can use to exchange in the shop as well and everything. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is two things. The familiar system and, of course, the my character section. Familiar wise, it's very straightforward. You join a familiar and you take part in the familiar events whenever they come out. There's not that much to it, to be quite honest. You do get some bonuses as well, like 30% discount on Valis needed for upgrades at max level and stuff like that. But beyond that, the familiar system is needing of an overhaul. They have mentioned that they want to work on the familiar system a little bit more, and they're planning on introducing improvements in the near future, but they're still working on optimizing it and figuring out what is the best direction to go. So we're gonna have to wait and see if they do make any changes to the familiar system. Right now, I would say just join any random familiar, or if you can find a familiar with the Discord and you're able to get in touch with them, go for that instead. I would say that'll be a lot better, especially for the familiar event. It helps out massively to make sure people do run, right? So there is that. And now we go over to the my character system, where just like Danmimo, there's a CP system. You can give gifts, and then you get rewards here as well. You can get books, you can get Selas, you can get some stats bonuses as well, as you can see right here. There's some bond quests as well, which you can see right here, right? There are bond quests as well that you can unlock as well. And if you do those, if you go over to the mission tab as well, you can get Selas for doing those bond quests as well. So it's a great way for you to basically get a bunch of Selas as well. I haven't done any of them because I've been using it as a bit of a bank. Basically, if I need it, I will, you know, break the piggy bank. But right now, I'm just saving it because I think I'll need it in the future instead. You know what I mean? So that is the main thing you need to keep an eye out for. Now, with that being said, I think that is all the stuff that I want to talk about primarily that you should keep an eye out on and the things you need to focus on. Let me know if I've missed out on anything, in regards to the beginner's guide. Of course, if you guys want dedicated videos for everything, like I said, there will be a guide playlist up on screen right now for you guys to go check out. But if you want any other question answered or anything of that sort, leave it in the comment section down below. It's been about 45 minutes. My throat is dying, but I will wrap up the video here and let you guys ask questions to me or anybody else who's reading the comment section down below to answer your questions. So put it in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.